Assassin's Creed is a series with many well-written and beloved protagonists, but when it comes to popularity and recognition, none really come close to Ezio. Not only is Ezio the most recognizable character in the series, and likely Ubisoft as a whole, but he's also one of the most well-loved protagonists in video games in general. He's been the fan favorite of the Assassin's Creed series for the longest time now, and even if he isn't your personal favorite protagonist, he's still far and away the most popular. Ezio has become synonymous with not only Assassin's Creed, but Ubisoft as well. You see him in lots of the marketing and promos with Ubisoft, even to this day, and in a lot of ways, he's the Assassin's Creed mascot. It's hard to remember a time where Ezio didn't exist. He's become so well known and respected. Even people who aren't huge Assassin's Creed fans likely know who he is. Ubisoft has had plenty of iconic characters through the decades between all their different game series, but Ezio to me is the most iconic of them all. So what exactly led to the creation of Ezio Auditore de Firenze? What made the reception to his character so overwhelmingly positive? And what has his impact and legacy meant for the series and Ubisoft as a whole? Despite being the series' most popular and recognizable character, Ezio is not even the first protagonist of the series. That was obviously Altair, and while for the most part Altair was fairly well received, Ezio is really the one who brought Assassin's Creed to the next level of popularity, starting with Assassin's Creed 2. With creating Ezio, the team at Ubisoft Montreal wanted him to share similarities with Altair in terms of ability and style, but make the character a sharp contrast when it came to personality and background. Hence the birth of Ezio, which actually means eagle, a very common theme for character names in this series, as Altair's name means flying one or flying eagle, and if you look up the rest of the protagonists, most of their names either mean wolf, eagle, or some other type of bird. And eagles are of course very significant to the series, since assassins use eagle vision, and the Assassin's Creed logo is actually the outline of an eagle skull. But the difference in personality and backstory for Altair and Ezio are very clear. While Altair was born into the assassins and trained as one his whole life, Ezio was born into a wealthy Italian family where he wasn't even made aware of his assassin heritage until essentially his adult life. While Altair was cold, stoic, direct, and a man of few words, Ezio was loud, charming, and humorous. Ezio was described by historians to be the typical Italian nobleman during the Renaissance, which makes sense given his environment and upbringing, while Altair was raised to basically do one thing: kill. These contrasts and major differences from Altair were very intentional, as the developers not only wanted to have the player experience things through the eyes of a different type of character, but to also deliver a more empowering experience for the player. Rather than starting out as someone who's already an extremely skilled master assassin, you instead have to train and learn alongside Ezio as he discovers his assassin heritage. They wanted Ezio to be more relatable to the player, and rather than having him grow stronger and learn new moves and skills from a skill tree, he learns how to be an assassin through the training and guidance of friends, family, and allies. For example, learning combat from Mario, learning the art of pickpocketing and blending with the crowd from Paula, or even learning the climb leap from Rosa. The development of Ezio and his skills feels far more natural and narrative driven, as opposed to if you were to just get skill points and unlock something in a skill tree like a lot of the newest games do. Another big and intentional difference between both Altair and Ezio are their motivations. Altair is sent on a quest by Al-Mualim to redeem himself in the eyes of the Brotherhood and foil the Templars, while gaining humility and selflessness in the process. Ezio's story and motivations, however, are far more personal. His story starts out as one of revenge. The developers wanted to give him and the player a clear goal and mission to follow, and in AC2, that was to gain the power and skills necessary to avenge Ezio's family. And this journey presented the opportunity to allow Ezio to undergo personal growth as he aged and matured into an assassin who seeks justice above all. The story and concept was still rather simple, but very well executed, and Ezio's personal arc and development throughout the game, on top of his fun-loving, charming personality, and the incredible performance by Roger Craig Smith, led to him being an immediate hit among fans and critics alike. He won multiple gaming-related awards in 2009, and his popularity would spawn sequels and spin-offs where he continued to be the central character and focus for the series. We saw him grow and develop even further in Brotherhood and Revelations, while still keeping the likability and personality fans of the series fell in love with. He of course still remains the only protagonist to this day to have sequels, and they still find ways to try and bring him back, like most recently with Assassin's Creed Nexus. Of course, getting 3 full games worth of strong development and characterization is a massive reason why the character became so popular. He's the only protagonist of the series where we could actually witness his life story unfold from birth to death. This allowed the audience to establish a bond and connection to Ezio that hardly any other character in any Ubisoft game can offer. Sure, there are other Ubisoft characters that have multiple games, but there's very few game series in general that present a complete arc of an entire character's life that's as well written and represented as Ezio's. And after the final chapters of his story concluded with Assassin's Creed Revelations and Embers in 2011, he was cemented as the best protagonist in Assassin's Creed, and possibly one of the best in video games. Again, I know he's not everybody's favorite, and there are some contrarians out there who try to make him out to be overrated, but to an overwhelming majority of the community, he is the GOAT of Assassin's Creed. And it would take one extraordinary masterpiece of a story and character to ever dethrone him as such. Ezio was so popular that Ubisoft has even tried to replicate him with similar types of characters in other games, or make characters with similar personalities, and they'll never be able to recapture that lightning in a bottle that Ezio Auditore brought. And nor should they try to. He's one of a kind. I mean, all of his games were even enhanced and re-released for the new consoles, and was dubbed the Ezio Trilogy. Only a legend gets his own trilogy named after him. And of course, a character like Ezio wouldn't be possible without the developers and writers that created that magic in the first place. Like the original Assassin's Creed creators, Patrice Desilets, Corey May, and Jade Raymond, those who continued his story into Brotherhood and Revelations, like Jeffrey Yohalem and Darby McDevitt, and the many other talented developers who brought Ezio's story to life. I'm really hoping one day we can get another story to the quality and scope of Ezio's in this series. It almost feels like we took the Ezio days for granted now, not knowing just how special it was. But Ezio's legacy has long outlived himself and his games, and he's practically been immortalized in the gaming landscape. I mean, even now, Ubisoft still sells plenty of items and merchandise of Ezio, and he still finds ways to show up in new games, whether it's with an outfit, reference, or appearance himself. So it's safe to say he'll likely never fully be gone. But let me know in the comments, what does Ezio mean to you? And would you consider him to be among some of the best video game protagonists of all time? In my opinion, he's certainly one of, if not the best Ubisoft protagonist. But anyways, as always, if you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate it if you left a like and consider subscribing to the channel if you're new. A special thank you to my members for supporting me, and other than that, thanks for watching, and have a good rest of your day, everyone.